Yes, greetings in the name of the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God, His Majesty, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, living God, Majesty. And today was a good day in church today. Understand, the priest preached some good lessons to enlighten everybody, in their hearts of hearts. But although we having a good day over here in North America, New York, it's darkness over in Ethiopia as we speak. And by darkness, we're talking about sufferation, understand, turmoil, understand, crucifixion, and not the Christian version, punishment. And them things over here is happening all just after the Prime Minister of Ethiopia put in resignation. And from they put in the state of emergency, which is going to last, they said, 6 months. And the last one lasts 10 months. And they said 6 months the last time, but it lasted longer. So we have to look and understand that the mass movement is playing a big role, but not just the mass movement only, but the word of the people. You know what I said? The word of the people. Because the Abuna talk, we talk, the followers and the commentary people them talk, and the human rights people them heard. And he put resolutions and laws on the table over there to them. And then from that whole situation, this come about. So we have to understand that this is all a plan from the government. Understand? The state of emergency, when you read the laws that they put, that you can't do in the area, understand? It's worse than martial law. Sure. As the man said, a police state. And to the mass people out there that's anti-government, your slogan should be constitutional monarchy of who? Emperor Haile Selassie I. Because nothing else is going to save you. They're going to put back somebody else in that same seat with their means and their objective. They're not going to give it to the Aroma people, them. They're not doing that. They're not giving it to the Amar people them either. It's just going to be senseless fighting. That's why we should rally behind the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I and the political organization, the IEWF, which is Haile Selassie I's government in exile. Because it didn't go nowhere. We are the monarchy. Understand? That was taken away from Ethiopia. They're not going to mention 74 to you because 74 make them look like bloodthirsty murderers.
Sure.
So they just pretty up with the other history of Ethiopia that they don't even respect to put in the constitution. So we can't look at this whole resignation thing as some big thing and who's going to be the next Prime Minister of Ethiopia. We don't want no Prime Minister of Ethiopia. We want a king.
Sure.
That's what we want. And until we get that, you're going to always hear our mouth. The students them and the followers them support the mass movement. Sure. With that, may the Emperor bless the item, keep the item safe, and cause his face to shine upon the item. His Majesty, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. My name is Abbot Shubel. People of the mass movement, just come in with us, the IWF, Inc. and the Church of Haile Selassie I, which is the two basic institutions that was given to man for man's own development, but you utilize it and switch it wrong. And you utilize it to manipulate and conquer and rule and divide man.
Sure.
But we're going to use what the Emperor say. The Emperor utterance is always our guide. Because hear what the brother say? We are the exiled people. So he's the ones who is the monarchists, who live in the West, who was always ruled by the monarchy. Because respective, Spain ruled Jamaica, Spain ruled England. All of Spain was a colonial monarch, was a monarch. England is the same thing, so we're monarchists. Sure. And we're not going to deter from that. As the Virgin say, you will forever hear our mouth, because what the laws that they make is the same mind that overthrew Emperor Haile Selassie I's government in 1974. People will have to realize that it's the same minds. Because if you don't look at it so, we will all be baffled. And we will all be confused. It's the same mind that said these laws to all ban all what constitutional monarchy will reflect. So we don't need no evidence again. We don't need no evidence, and we're not going to follow what Paul say, because my say call for re-examination. We're not going to look for faith, substance, hope for evidence unseen. We're not going to play that game, because they send me to school and we're going to use grammar and we're going to understand and pause. We're not going to look for faith that is substance, hope for evidence unseen. If you really analyze that grammar, it's very elusive. So we're going to follow Emperor Haile Selassie I. We're going to look at the condition today in Ethiopia. We don't need no glasses. We're going to see the same policies. If you read Matthew 16, the historical man warned him and say, beware of the unleavened of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And this unleavened wasn't bread, but was the doctrine them preach. Sure. So we must be acknowledge that and look at the doctrine these people them is pushing, the philosophies them is given to us today. It's not different. It's the same wine, but in a prettier bottle, more fancy to catch you, because why? The 5 basic senses. You ever think about what you hear? Think about what you see? These 5 basic senses, you ever think about it? Or what it entails? So with that, come join the Abuna with the mass struggle, because the Church of Haile Selassie I and the IWF Inc. is the legal arm of the displaced people in the Western Hemisphere. And we're going to close with what His Majesty say, those that love justice and hate aggression. And remember again, people, it's the same minds that hoist Emperor Haile Selassie I's government 1974. They don't want the Prince of Peace. So we, the voice of the people, is the voice of His Imperial Majesty. Because the Virgin before say, you will forever hear our voice. Why you forever hear our voice? Because we is the voice of God. And the voice of God is Lion of Judah. Break every chain and give us victory. Again, again, and again. Lion of Judah, break every chain and give us the victory. Again, again, and again. Lion of Judah, break every chain and give us the victory. Again, and again, and again. Blessed be Jah! Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, His Majesty.
Greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Long live the dynasty of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God. Well, and I greet you again. My name is Eugene Aniel Haynes. I greet you again in the name of His Emperor Haile Selassie I and the monarchy of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. And as we sit back and we consider the events that is going on in Ethiopia, at this point in time, we heard a statement that the Prime Minister Haile Selassie said that he resigned his commission in order to continue fostering peace in Ethiopia. But right after that, a state of emergency was issued. Who is he trying to fool? I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think he's resigning. I think it's a subterfuge that he's using in order to keep and maintain power for the Tigrayan people, the TPLF. And they're not going to give up power without force. Sure. The resolution that is set in the United States Senate and House has to come in effect. We cannot give them more time. They've been given until the end of this month, and the Prime Minister thinks he can go around it by resigning and then still keeping control by providing a state of emergency in Ethiopia, which takes away the freedom of the people to express themselves and to express their views on the government and to assemble and to gather together and take away the rights of the people. The army can go into anyone's house, knock down anyone's door, in the interest of terrorism, which is like a fake thing that they're using to oppress their own people and to oppress any kind of opposition. But I am speaking, my message is to you, the students of Ethiopia, and those people who are on the ground in Ethiopia protesting. Don't give up. Because them can't kill everybody. If them can't kill everybody, them now got nobody to rule over. So have the courage of your ancestors, have the courage of ancient people who stand up and fought for Ethiopia, your ancient forefathers who laid down their lives for the freedom of Ethiopian people against people who come in to try to take away their freedoms, like the Italians twice, 1896 and 1935. Ethiopians are the ones who won that war, both wars. So we are asking you again to fight again. Fight, but this time fight for the monarchy. Fight for the restoration of Emperor Haile Selassie I's government and the monarchy of Ethiopia from Solomon time until this time. Because that is the only way Ethiopia can be unified. There's no other unifying force for Ethiopia. Socialism, communism, the prime minister is not going to do it.
True.
It will not happen until the throne of Emperor Haile Selassie I is restored. So join the mass movement. Continue with your oppression, your opposition to the government and to what they stand for. Because they stand for nothing. They stand only for themselves and the multinational companies that they've sold out Ethiopia to. Stand up for your people and for your children and their children and the ancient Ethiopian belief system that has existed for thousands and thousands of years. Give thanks, His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God. My name is Brother Amaziah, Brother Ralph, at the Church Haile Selassie I here in New York. And what has come to our attention again is the Prime Minister of Ethiopia resigning from power. And now we see that Ethiopia is under a military rule, a state of emergency, police state. And the reality of it is nothing is new and nothing changed. Because after hearing what the laws and the policies and how this whole military state and state of emergency entails, is no different than when the Prime Minister was in full power. Because the people of Ethiopia are still live under fear and tyranny. You understand? Because they said that basically the people them don't have no right to talk against what's going on in their own country to them by the powers that be, by those that's supposed to govern over them. You understand? So it never changed. My argument before is the same as it is now. From 1974, Ethiopia is mashed up, and Ethiopia became a colonized country under socialism. And worse, it was done by their own. You understand? So because the Prime Minister says that he's resigning, it's a political ploy for him to regroup himself, get his power together, and come back. Sure. Because who run the military? Is not the Prime Minister? He's running the whole thing, you know. So the people can't get fooled and think, no, the mass movement is great. Because the mass movement bring awareness to people so that way that they know what's going on. But don't think that his resignation is a step in the positive, right direction. Because at the end of the day, the council is Tigrian, just like him. So even if they put an Amhara or whoever into power, what is the system of government that they're going to use to rule Ethiopia from now to the future? It's not the same socialism. They're going to bring back the same thing that they've been bringing back over and over and over from 74. And don't realize that the only government that could give freedom, liberation, restoration to Ethiopia is a pre-1974 governmental system, which is constitutional monarchy, modern Ethiopianism under Emperor Haile Selassie I. And that's the only resolution, that's the only thing that's going to free Ethiopia today if they're looking for peace and if they're looking for progress. Because from 74, there's no progress in Ethiopia. You understand? Ethiopia is walking with a begging bowl from that time. But everybody's fighting like they want to keep the same system going on and keep going. And they don't realize it's the same. It's colonization. It's occupation. It's not your system. It's not our way. From the beginning of time, God created the heaven and the earth. We've been ruled by monarch.
Sure.
So you telling me that from the beginning of time, wherever they want to say a million years ago, 5 million years ago, whenever in the beginning is, up until 74, a system that kept Ethiopia free, Ethiopian sovereignty intact, keep Ethiopia independent, never conquered by, wow, everyone around Ethiopia is conquered by European interest in their country. And Ethiopia is the only place on this planet that stand independent up to 74, and y'all still fighting to keep what was from 74 alive to today? No, we got to think again.
Sure.
So the people got to look at a pre-1974 government as the light and the way, like the brethren preached today, a lamp and a light to the commandment and the law. That is constitutional monarchy. That is modern Ethiopianism. That is Emperor Haile Selassie I, government on earth, theocracy, and is that we defending. You understand? So the people who are looking at this video, the people who are part of the mass movement and people who are interested in becoming part of the mass movement, do it and keep giving us your support. And keep sharing the videos and keep spreading the word and tell them don't sleep, don't close your eyes and don't get fooled. Because all it's been is one puppet to another puppet to another puppet from 74 to now. That got to stop. That got to stop. And y'all got a history before 74. But you see, from 1892 to 1974, they want to eradicate from out of your mind. And we say, wake up. That's why the Church of Haile Selassie I is here and the IWF to help wake up your mind. Go to our website, himchurch.org. Check out the website to learn your history. Because as they preach today, you have to know where you were from, where you're at, so you can know where you're going. So with that, I say, long live the dynasty of Emperor Haile Selassie I, God, King and Savior. Blessed be Jah
Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of our better Christian Haile Selassie I, the Church of Haile Selassie I, one God. I'm Brother Ismachia. I'm the assistant abbot to Abbot Abdi in the New York branch, and I would like to say that if anyone is looking at history, you can see that what our God, Haile Selassie I, with his constitutional monarchy and the constitution that he drafted, if an Ethiopian or anybody that loves Ethiopia is truly observing, you can see that they didn't draft this constitution out of genuineness. They studied His Majesty Constitution and said, we're going to do everything opposite of that and make it a constitution. And that's what Ethiopian people is suffering from an antichrist constitution. Because they took God's constitution and fight against it. That's why if you do anything in the likeness of His Majesty constitution, you get killed. You get killed. So certain things, I just wanted to read one verse. It says in Revelation 20 verse 11, it says, "And I saw a great white throne and him that sat on it, from whose face the earth and the heavens fled away. There was no place found for them." So we show you that heaven is not no magical place. Heaven is Ethiopia. And that's why the Bible says that the current heaven and earth shall pass away. And we must get liberation and restoration. And it says we bring a new heaven and a new earth. Modern Ethiopianism. So that means that even the people them in heaven betray God, which is Ethiopia. And the people them on earth, America, Russia. So that's why prophecy, time, place, date, all of it belong unto God, Haile Selassie I. And what we preaching is right. So all of what's going on in Ethiopia, we have to really look at the Church of Haile Selassie I as that light and that beacon in this time. Because nobody's not defending anything in the likeness of what we're saying. You understand? So with that, I'm not going to prolong it because the man have laid the base of what we're saying. Support the Church of Haile Selassie I and the Imperial Ethiopian World Federation, because it said it. From his place there was no, from his face the heavens and the earth fled and there was no place found for them. So we show you in that verse that we must get liberation. You understand? If you flee from His Majesty, there shall be no place. Meaning say when Ethiopia do come back, you shall not be recognized. Because His Majesty said He pay everyone according to his work. So if you work for God, you shall get paid. Just like when everyone work and get a paycheck on Friday by their boss. So with that, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yes, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, from Barbeta Christian Haile Selassie I, the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God. Yes, greetings again. And my name is Brother Joseph, novice Levite here at the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And what I want to say is, you know, to one who's watching this, if you love justice and hate aggression, you understand? If you have feelings, you understand? Then you have to join the mass movement. Because when you look at the current situation that is going on in Ethiopia, it is downright despicable. And why is it downright despicable? Because from 1974, Haile Selassie I's government monarchy was taken out of Ethiopia. So from 1974 to now, all we have been seeing when we look at the history of Ethiopia is problems and trouble. You understand? So if we know, when we look at the emperor, he said history is a nation's guideline and a nation's destiny. You have to look at the things that we did in the past. You understand? And to the Ethiopian people then, right? I would like to basically say, look to the verse of Zechariah chapter 1 verse 3, right? And it says, therefore turn ye unto me, right? And when it says, therefore turn ye unto me, therefore turn ye the Ethiopian people unto me, who? The Lord Haile Selassie I, the lawgiver, because at the end of the day, it's only one government that belongs in Ethiopia. You understand? That's how the scripture can say, turn ye unto me. So it shows you that you have to go for constitutional monarchy.
Sure.
You understand? You have to take up that arms and that fight and have that courage to proclaim Haile Selassie I and say that you want his government and no other government. Because only through that, then the problems stop. And like I said, when you look at it, you check the history from 1974 to now, all that we've been seeing with Ethiopia has been puppet rulers. And from puppet rulers to the next puppet rulers, and then you have what they call a state of emergency. And in that same state of emergency, they militarize the police. So the police can do whatever to the Ethiopian citizens under the control of that same Ethiopian government. So you can currently see that Ethiopian government is a fraud because it doesn't care for the well-being of the Ethiopian people. So that's why again the verse could say, to the Ethiopian people, turn ye unto me. Because Haile Selassie I is the law. His government, his regime is the law. And it's unchallenged. So with that, I will say, blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, living, one God.
Majesty. Greetings, brethren and sisters, brothers and sisters. My name is Brother Mariah Jason Wells, and come to you from the Church of Emperor Haile Selassie I in North America, and calling on Rastafarians and people who love truth and justice and hate aggression to support the mass movement for the liberation of Ethiopia and the restoration of a legal His Majesty Emperor Selassie I legal constitutional monarchy. And brothers and sisters, Ethiopians home and abroad, it's necessary that we look into being a part of, the mass movement, because your life is dependent on it, your future is dependent on it. As Ethiopians, I'm not saying just Ethiopians who live in Ethiopia, but Ethiopians in Jamaica, Ethiopians from Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, Haiti, St. Vincent. Once you're a black man, a black woman, a black child, you're Ethiopian. You understand? And right now what's going on in Ethiopia is just really a spark of the flame what could really take place in the whole world. You understand? And it isn't taking place in the whole world because Ethiopia is the cradle of civilization. And right now, that is where the beasts are affecting right now Ethiopia. The Marcus Linus government, the Derg that overthrew His Majesty government September 1974, right? Of Ethiopia right now under a state of emergency that it can't have a voice against them as an opposition, you know, as someone who want rights for yourself, your family, your people, you know, you don't have a voice against them. And that's total disaster. That's total madness, you know. Dictatorship, really, you know. So, brothers and sisters, Ethiopians home and abroad, support the mass movement in Jamaica, North America, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, London. You understand? Because history is a nation's guideline and a nation's destiny. You understand? And we don't want the history of what took place 74 come again. We want the history of a king, an emperor, Emperor Selassie I's constitution that he gave the people come back into effect. So the Ethiopian government, you know, the UN, you know, America, the government of the world, wherever, people need you and we are depending on you to help us. We the people in exile of Ethiopia. You understand? And it's time that justice be served, you know. We even call on the prince, you know. This is our life we dependent on as a human race, and not just black people, humanity. So brothers and sisters, come support the mass movement. Church service every Sunday at 11 o'clock in North America, in Jamaica, Barbados, and London. You understand? Abbot Shubel is building a church in Trinidad and Tobago right now, you know, in Labre. So, brothers and sisters, this is a calling to you to come support God government back on earth. Theocracy. So, brothers, sisters, His Majesty Emperor Selassie I guidance and protection. Rastafari.
Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I.
Yeah, greetings in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I, one God, you know, and the whole setting and the whole thing, you know. Let's give thanks for the elder Abuna is standing up so firm in this time, you know, to set the whole thing that I can grow as brethren and to set more foundation to release the whole struggle that I people them bear through this universe, you know. For real, but I have to just do the good things to the people them and make the people them see, say a really Rastafari thing I go on now, you know. His Majesty just in I if he just move the forward things in and people them ears who are asleep, wake up. You know, see it and who they somewhere else I play like them at the eye monarchy and the thing. And them not ready in them thing there yet. So them better wake up and just stand firm and just free up Ethiopian people, boy. Sorry for the eye them, but you know, freedom is a must. Sure. Freedom is a must, you know, see it. A faith, courage, and a just cause. David will slow, go Goliath. You know, see it. Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Can you think, hey, them can't stop us again, man. They can't stop us again, you know, because Rastafari thing are grown now. You know, see it, and this have to go through. This is that thing we have to come to reality in a people's face. That's them see say, well then, it's Rastafari and do the whole thing to the universe, conquer. As the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judas. Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I first. Blessed be Jah Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Yes, Rastafari.
Yes. Greeting in the name of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I. Greeting to all. My name is Peliel Panther. Is also. I would like to read you a passage from today's lesson, which comes from Zephaniah chapter 3, verses 10. It says, "From beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, my suppliants, even the daughter of my dispersed, shall bring my offering." When you look at that statement, it said, Ethiopia, bring Ethiopia in it. You know, just like Genesis 2:13. And the daughter that the Ethiopian is Egypt, because Egypt is the daughter of Ethiopia. It was the Ethiopians who went down the Nile and drained the land and called it Egypt. So Egypt is part of Ethiopia. What I'm saying, bringing this up, is that this is kind of, I call it propaganda. You understand? Going around that said, when we are Abrahams, we are Abrahamites. You know, we don't see it that way. You understand? Abraham came to Egypt and was afraid. You understand? So we don't see ourselves as Abrahamites. No, when you look at the question of where we're going, because the mass movement is where we're going. We're not communists.
Sure.
We're not communists.
Monarchy.
We are monarchy. From the beginning, from that time, Elohim, which is the Almighty God, and other monarch that come to know where His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I from 1892 to 1974 when they overthrew His Majesty government. But from that time, we've been living in his time, this time, when he destroyed the beast, which is fascism. You understand? And, you know, we can go further into it, but this foreign idea that is ruling Ethiopia from 1974 has to go.
Sure.
We have to bring back our monarch, our father, who overthrew colonialism. Yeah, he overthrew colonialism and bring back, free up Africa, although Africa betrayed him, and bring in socialism and communism. We don't like that. We don't like that. We want to go back to our father, Emperor Haile Selassie I, who liberate us and give us a doctrine and take us out of colonialism and colonial mind. You understand? And bring us to our land, which is Ethiopia. We want that in Ethiopia for I and I, because as the people who are far off, who worship him. Yeah, we are that people who worship him. So with that, you know, I don't want to stress the item, because today was a beautiful day in service, and I call for the support of the mass movement. Yeah, I'm supporting it. And, you know, I don't have certain sentiments over certain things. You know, I don't. And another time, you know, another day, another season, things will happen. So we're looking at, we get the leadership from the Crown Council, and the Abuna, Emmanuel Fox, is our bishop, and it should be the bishop of Rastafari all over the world, all over the four corners of the earth, because Rastology is a theology that teach the divinity of Emperor Haile Selassie I. And you have to know this. He's God, God Almighty. Isaiah 9:6. Prove, listen people, we can't get sentimental or something, you know, we have to know history, you know, history and truth.
Sure.
And if we don't get proper government, we will always be enslaved and used by other people to come to their ends of means. I know, how we're going to plant our own food and sell it to people who want to use us as their slave and servant? No, we can't do that. We're supposed to think about Ethiopians, home and abroad. You understand? We have to surround our emperor, our state. Yeah, our state, which is who? The state is the IEWF Incorporated. That's the state. The God part is Emperor Haile Selassie I Church. You understand? The state and church. So we must have those two, because man is a political animal. We can't think that we can disregard politics. You will never get freedom without politics. You understand? So with that, again, I don't want to burn out the people this day. It's a beautiful day. We all worship His Majesty to a great day. Blessed be Jah
Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I,
Majesty.
real man, Majesty Rastafari.